Talktainment Radio, worldwide sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go. The world's greatest radio. You're in touch with This Is Libby. I'm Libby, and this is radio the way it should be heard. It's hot in the Midwest, and I'm also burning up with the subject matter that came to me to share with you today. It's not something you haven't heard before. However, it's getting to be a little bit too much for me to just feel like it's so common to talk about human sex trafficking, especially children. So you call me at 1-877-932-9766 and you talk to you some Libby about this and heat stroke. Now first, I got a little something to share with you. And what I want to tell you about this is real simple. This trafficking situation is so powerfully well-oiled machine that there's a brother in prison who is willing to talk about how simple it is to do. I want to do some prevention conversation with you today, and I want you to share that with me if you have some. 1-877-932-9766. Our babies are in trouble. Our young people, men and women, boys and girls, elders and infants are in trouble. All the news that you're hearing about, what is his name? Billionaire Jeffrey Epstein, well-oiled machine. These guys have been doing this for years. My understanding and overstanding is folks been doing this for centuries, using our babies for sexual delight, using our elders for organs. I know, you've heard it before and before and before, but today it's working my nerves because it's just so easy to do. People have a blind eye. Take a listen to this young brother. He's in jail.
People out there really ready to manipulate her.
Some would say you're only a baby.
Yeah. Some would say that. Everything just sounded nice, like the fast life and being able to do whatever you want, no parents, no rules.
Why motivation?
Man, a pimp gave me his name. He said, I'm going to call you Motivation because you dedicated your woman and inspired her to be something that she wasn't.
Bring me back, bring me on the dough. I need 5 people, you know how I go. I need a top-notch hoe, get down the flow. Say, tell your daddy, well, know how I go. I keep it flying, snow bunny. Top-notch better have my money.
The money is addictive, man. It's like a drug, you know? It's adrenaline. It's a rush.
You got to pay daddy well.
I'm making rapper money. I'm seeing 100,000 in 6 months. At the end of the day, this just ran like a business. It's like Bastions and Robbins. You got different flavors, you know? Everybody got their different tastes. Everybody got different type of girls they want.
What'd you think of that?
That you get out of jail card free. Get out of jail card free.
It's easy to beat the system. People beat the system all the time, so I guess he's telling the truth. It was a get out of jail free card. It made me feel like what happened wasn't really that serious and that it doesn't really matter. It happens all the time. Like, who cares if it's just another girl? Who cares if it's you this time?
Every day, getting money. Every day we ride around in Hummers. Big bodies, big cars, fancy cars, diamond rings, pinky rings, find the things. She loved me 'cause I gave it a game.
Yeah, see. Sister ain't got no hair to lose over this. You understand what I'm talking about? There are articles, there are announcements, there are news reporters that are just, this stuff is just flooding out for us to hear. Billionaire Jeffrey Epstein arrested on sex trafficking charges. Billionaire. Billionaire? World leaders snagged in sex trafficking ring. It's another story. So I wanted to share this with you because the seriousness of it, it's big, it's huge. Emotionally, we can all get emotionally and get involved in the Lee family, financially, psychologically. We can do that. But I think with all the advocates that are now being seen over all media, you can go to any of the media sites and pull up advocates who've either been victims or they just plain care. They just care. So I want you to take a minute or two or three and look into the face of the child that's nearest you or the one that comes to your mind and your heart. And imagine just for a little bit, you don't have to do it very long, that this baby is now absent from your protection. And they don't have to be infants, but the infants are also being used. And then picture them with the saddest, most horrific face they could possibly make as they're thinking to themselves, where and who is going to help me? Because once, like the gentleman said, I'm calling him gentleman, in the prison system, it's addictive. And they do whatever they need to do to get to your babies. 15 years old, 15 and a half is the average age for these young girls, and they didn't mention boys, but at this point right here, does it really matter? Because there is a market, a worldwide market for our young boys. Some folks get their stuff because they are with boys. Now, let me back up just a little, take a little breath, because this thing is in our backyard. It's literally in our backyard. There was a time when I used to be able to go out and play. I could go out and play and stay all day long. I could check in every once in a while with mom and dad. Just check in. Hey, I'm right here, or I'm at so-so's house. You can't do that anymore. You can't even leave your child in a grocery cart, turn around and grab a bag of frozen peas and turn around and hope they're still there. You can't let them walk the aisles of a grocery store like we could in our day. You don't do that anymore. Not if you got anything about you, as my mother would say, Miss Helen, any woman about you. If you got any kind of chutzpah about you, you don't do that anymore. Then there comes a part where, like our boys, and I'm going to focus on the boys as well because they are high, they are really wanted in the market. So you got a naive young man who thinks he knows everything, because when they start to smell their deodorant, they get a little cocky and smart aleck, whatever. But when they're in the company and the possession of these people who are well trained disciplinarians, they will break a child's spirit. A young child, 4 or 5 years old, eventually they'll make them forget who their name really is. Give them a new name, treat them in a certain. You get what I'm saying to you? So, considering all that, I have to talk to you about this today. We can't ignore this because, okay, look. When somebody loses an animal, a little puppy, a dog, a lifelong family member dog, you got all kind of announcements and poster boards and you've got networking to see where that dog is or if you can get it back. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that there's more caring for that and uprising about that, but I've seen it. I've seen where somebody cares more about their animals than they do about a missing child's picture that's being posted on every media site they can get it on, even telephone poles. The response is part of the reason, or that lack of response is part of the reason why these people are able to do what they do so easily. They pick up the children who have issues, and I'll run through that with you, of course. But I want you to be aware that this is a serious issue. It can be a deadly issue. And it also can be a lifelong suffering issue for the children that have been abducted and or walked away from home thinking they know what they know and get caught up in this. That young lady, she just told you plain. She had her face hidden, but she said, he made it look good. He made me feel good, promised me things and all of that. And when I left home, I went to be with him, the nightmare started. I've listened to testimonies where grown women who've been promised some things, they've been romanced and, oh, I'll just take care of you. I just need for you to move with me because I'm living out of state. So I need you to uproot yourself, move with me, and we'll make a life together. And as soon as she did that, this woman, her testimony, this woman had a small child, which she took with her. And while she was going to go out with the new boyfriend, who had romanced her for quite a while, the baby was left with the friend, right? In a new place, she didn't know the address by heart. She didn't have a phone contact with that person, but they had her baby. So when they go out to have a nice time at a club, she finds herself in a place where there's no club. And when she begins to say, whoa, hey, this isn't right, the boyfriend turns into somebody she didn't know and starts to hit her and says, oh yeah, you're going to go in there and get my money. Then she was asked, why did you do that? Why didn't you make this stop? She says, I didn't know where my baby was. It's that simple and that subtle, but that powerful. That's just one testimony that was listed in any of the research you do. So what I want to do now is make sure that you understand. Let's take a break. I got to breathe because this is hard for me to do. It's got to be done because I have no interest in seeing a picture of another child on social media, missing, been gone, can't find them, last seen at. If we can put a cap on this, at least a cap, I'm going to tell you the truth. I really feel that it's going to be a long time before a real dent has been put into this business, because the people who are interested in the business as clientele, Johns and or Janes, have a voracious, is that the word, voracious? Look, they're hungry for these babies, okay? They are hungry for the young girls. Some of them like the boys. Some of them like young women. Some like them blonde, some like them Asian, some foreign. They just look for parents who need a little money. They got the money. So I'm saying to you that at this point, right here, right now, we have got to at least we've got to do something, because it could be your baby's picture. I can't with that. Now, I'm going to take a breath. And I want to remind you that talktainmentradio.com is on Facebook. You can just go to facebook.com/talktainment, and then you can hear and see my program or other programs. We'd also like for you to, just put in some comments and let me know what you're thinking. I also want to tell you that there's some shows that are here at talktainmentradio.com that you might enjoy very much. There's various subjects that you can click on to and listen to, be a part of as well. You see, talktainmentradio.com is a 24/7, no charge, worldwide broadcasting facility, okay, with hosts delivering on various topics such as news and lifestyle, sports, law, health, wellness, religion, politics, and there's several shows that I'd like to share with you, all right? So you can see Everlasting Life with Michelle Vinall, and she's on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Then you can see The Compensatory Concept with Neely Fuller Jr. and Mr. Bobby, who is the co-host. You can see All in the Family with S. Yolanda Robinson. Oh, yeah. New Money with Drew and Janae. Talking about new money. Stairway to Heaven. And then there's Talking Sports with Mr. Bobby West. Yes, you can. So these are just a few. You just go to talktainmentradio.com and you click on programs for your scheduled topics. And then Talktainment Radio, you got to know it. Talktainmentradio.com. That's radio, the way it should be heard. Nice deep breath, Libby. Nice deep breath. Because now I have to get real serious about what we're going to do. Like on the color purple, what it's going to do, Miss Seeley? What it's going to do? First of all, we're going to define the problem. Okay? The problem here is it works real simple. It's very powerful. They can collect people so very easily. Just lured is a word that I hear over and over and over in the conversation about this whole subject. I mentioned that it's in your backyard. When I say it's in your backyard, I'm talking about the fact that the Johns and Janes, who are the purchasers of our children, our babies, our elders, our boys, this time they're boys, 12, 13 years old, 8 years old, and they're used by any and every somebody that loves boys. People you wouldn't even believe. But I'll tell you, there can be as close as your backyard. The children are being lured away into the sex trade. They are lured away. There's a selling of the girls, okay? Selling. Now think about this. You go to the shopping market, you got your purse or your wallet, if you will, and you go in there to buy a product. Now, just change it a little bit. It's not a dress. It's not a tie. It's not a pair of shoes. It's not your Stacey Adams. It's not your suit, nor your perfume. It's a person, a young person who may not have a clue as what's going to be required of them. And you take your money through the system, make a selection, and get your half an hour with that innocent child. I'll stop here for a second because selling girls I have to stay here for a little bit. You see, when we were children, my mother was a stickler for this. My father was more structural. I mean, he was daddy. But my mother had a thing about little girls sitting with their legs open. Now, that may sound very innocent to most of us, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old. They're innocent. And they sit in the chair and just so relaxed, right? My mother said, little girls don't sit like that. And if you didn't comply, with a reasonable amount of time, her answer to the problem was to get a cold glass of water and throw it directly under your dress. Because your dress was already up, so it was an easy target. You never did that again. Now that sounds cruel, doesn't it? But that was her way of making sure that in her mind, let's keep things safe. She didn't know who was looking at us, and she was aware that folks look, even though they are somebody that you respect and honor. She didn't play that. Folks don't function like that like they used to. She used something very simple, but it kept us maintaining that little girl look, not being too fast, not growing up too fast, all of that. She did that. She used different methods to teach different things, but that was one of them. Now, when you just think of a little girl, she's innocent, 5, 6, 7 years old, la 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 la, playing with her little dollies and playing now those devices, which takes me to a thought. I have to do this. It's a thought. Those little devices that we give our children to play with and keep them occupied for so long is the very device that some of the traffickers use to see who's available. When I go to the preventative portion of my conversation with you, I'll do it now because sometimes you got to do it when you need to do it. If they are on their little tablets and their little computer devices, afterwards, take that device, turn it off obviously, and cover it up. Yes, cover it up, because the offenders can literally put viruses in those devices that leave you exposed. Even if you think it's off, you think this is off, it's not off. They can actually watch you even when you're not aware. Now that came out from one of the people that was actually a victim of trafficking, and they made it plain. Don't assume that because you got your little devices that you're okay when you turn it off, because you are not. The young lady that was on the video clip that I shared with you a bit, her name was Carol, according to the video clip. She was 14, and she met a guy on Facebook. I'm saying it. And that was the guy whose name was Motivation, nickname Motivation. Now let me stop and talk a little bit about Facebook. Facebook should be a tool that's for an entertainment, and it has moved from being a source of entertainment to dangerous. You can have a profile and you got your little pictures on there, and you're showing, you're probably catching up with people you haven't seen for years. It's a great tool if you want to do that. However, the people who are the offenders, those who lure our babies into the trap, they know how to get on social media like Facebook, Instagram, and all those, right? I'm naming them. And connect with them and have chats with them and get information from them to see if they are a candidate for being lured away from home and have their way with them. This girl was 14. This is the time when I gotta say it. What are you doing with your babies? Now, I know I could catch it, and I don't care. I ain't got no hair to lose over this thing. But the bottom line is, you need to know what's going on with your children, okay? You need to know, and that you know that you know that you know. That's work, but then that's what parenting is. You should know what they're looking at on these devices. You need to know how long. And if you say time to get off, it's time to get off. Look, 2 times when my parents would speak your name once, that was the call. When they would have to call you twice, you really pushing it. If they call you by your first and middle name, no negotiations. No was a complete sentence for them. And I just need you to know that. We need to get back to that. There's too much leg room. There's too much, what do you call it, waffling? Or when you say, I'll use Jeffrey, because we used to use Jeffrey. And then you got to repeat yourself, Jeffrey, 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 Jeffrey. Oh no. That's over. Because these people who are contacting your children, teenagers, pre-teenagers, they know how to keep you on the phone, keep you on your tablet, get the information they need, and do whatever it is they need to do. Next thing you know, your child you think they're going to school. You think they're going to the store. Well, they may go to the store, but they'll meet that person at the store who could very easily convince them that getting in the car and going for a ride is okay. No, we can't do this. No. How about no? I'm going to take a couple deep breaths and remember this one for you. The money is addictive on both sides of this business. When a 14-year-old like young Carol here is enticed by getting things and being treated well and all of that, that's money. That's money. And then the person who's doing the luring, that's money. Didn't the young man say it? He said it plain. I get rappers' money. You know what rappers' money looks like? He said hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now he's in prison. Obviously, he wasn't as good at his game as he thought he was. But look at all the damage that he's done before he was apprehended. And this damage doesn't just go to, she's sad and depressed. No. Physiologically, she may be damaged. May not be able to have children. May not even be able to have fun with a partner that she really loves because of the damage that was done. The money is addictive on both sides. I think I heard Mr. Bobby West on his show say the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, can't argue when you go against your parents' words and your father, your mother, your grandfather's words, auntie, ma belle, and they tell you, don't do that, and you know their voices are in your head, and you're going, but he smells good, he feels good, and he says all the right things to me, and I'm just gonna go meet him. I got to go meet him. That's powerful. Because when we were children, I use this a lot. I can use it more than I thought I did. When we were children, you could hear your parents' voices in your head saying, don't you even think about doing that. No, what? You just didn't do those things. With these children coming into the world now, there's a sense of no fear because there's a connection missing between grandmama's voice and their behavior. Not blaming them all, because I know there's some good children, but they abduct good children too. They have a method for that. If you're not compliant, well, they still have a way of getting to you. You see what I mean? It's subtle, and it's powerful, and it's effective. It's a working, very well working machine, very well oiled machine, supported by big business, billionaires such as Mr. Epstein, and others. You'd be surprised who's involved in this. You'd be surprised. But that's your homework. I always ask you to go do your research. Check out who's really involved in this business. It'll hurt your feelings. It'll make you look at people differently. So I need you to understand that what I'm saying to you, it's just vital that you pay attention to this. Yes, I'm asking you to step up your parenting. I sure am. On every level. Trust very few with your babies. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Because these little announcements missing and damaged, too much for me anymore. Just know that TalkTainmentRadio.com, we go where you go. So download TalkTainmentRadio.com after your cell or tablet. Podcasts are available. That's radio, the way it should be heard. Now this is Libby, and you're listening to This Is Libby. And so call in 1-877-932-9766.